see you, my love. Nice to see you. I hope everybody's doing well. I just decided to come to you guys because tomorrow I may be able to see you guys in the morning for a little bit, but this is probably going to be it for a couple days. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I know I'll be live at least, I'll be at the hotel for a little bit, so I'll be able to go live, but for the most part I'll be down for the count. So it's nice to see everybody this evening. I figured we'd just have a little bit of chit chat because of all the new revelations. What does everybody think? I gotta be honest with you, the affidavit of probable cause for the 2 Kansas women, that's pretty intense. I've got to be honest with you, that's pretty intense. It reads like a crazy movie you would go and watch at a movie theater. I mean, they felt like they were doing God's work, some twisted God's work thing, and without all the facts, they just assumed. Now, I don't know if anything happened, if Veronica's brother was just accused or if was accused of doing something specifically to her children or not. Hey guys, it's nice to see you guys coming in. I just decided to do like a little quick live this evening. I've been working all day. I didn't really, I did a live earlier this morning from the office because I knew if I didn't get it done, I wasn't going to see you guys today. And then I was sitting here and I was like wanting to relax and everything. And I actually got a latte, which I think has put a little bit of too much wind in my sails. So I was sitting here and I'm like, well, might as well get back to work, I mean, I've been working here all day, but it hasn't been on the cases. And we learned, well, this morning they were running late and they had the press conference. The press conference really, we didn't get a whole lot out. I guess, well, I shouldn't say that. I guess we did get some out. They knew early on what the situation was surrounding the situation with the girls. Like they knew it was over the custody. They learned of it right away. They started putting and piecing things together. They turned the case right over to Ohio State Bureau of Investigations, and they just started working on it, and we are here now. And I think they knew they knew it was them. And did you guys notice, like somebody sent me some stuff because there was a lady out there that was kind of helping me understand the landscape. So I was communicating with her, and she was sending me photos of different areas out there. I was actually kind of pretty, it was kind of really, really pretty out there. Just flat, flat and deserted. So it was, I don't know. We knew it was grim. She couldn't really tell me a whole lot. She told me what she heard, and sometimes how that can be. It can be a little sketchy because we heard something a lot worse than as far as the condition of them were. We were looking at something a lot more grim. And you guys did understand who one of them were. I mean, it wasn't too far-fetched, right? Because one of the people there was literally a butcher, It's just terrifying. It's terrifying. I think what pisses me off, excuse my language, the most about this is them having these conversations with their children. Their children! Like, what in the ever-loving, I don't know what, I don't understand that. I mean, if you're going to, and for it to be 2 mothers, you guys remember Savannah Soto? You remember how upset I got over Myrta, right? Myrta, I was almost madder at her than I was at the men because she was a mom. Like, how dare you? And this is kind of one of those same things, is you have 2 women in the mix of this. One of them, we're going to learn whether it holds water or not, but we believe grandma's the one that kind of, pew. So, I get back up here. Hey, Real Me Too, Kathy, Sonia, Sweet Misery. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. Good evening, CC, Kathy, KI, it's nice to see you. It's me, Jen, up in the house. Robin, June Girl, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Pebbles, it's nice to see you. Angel, Liz, Well, hello everybody. It's nice to see you. So I'm not really doing anything. It's just, this is not like majorly dramatic or anything. It's just kind of chit chat, talking about the cases, just getting a feel for it, because I got to tell you, the whole thing with the two ladies in Kansas, well, both of the cases, Sebastian as well as theirs, really, really bother me. But theirs more so because, Sebastian's important, but they're leaving behind 6 children. It was just so unnecessary. That grandmother ruined their life, and then the friend, the Twombleys, that was a mom too, and she is discussing this kind of stuff with her underage daughter, her 16-year-old daughter. What? I don't know at what point that nobody stopped each other and said, this is insane. And not only that, to find out they tried to plan something a month before in February, and like literally Veronica's only saving grace was she was a homebody that day. That's a little freaky. To think that the only thing that saved her life is that she was a homebody that day. Had she got out the house, God knows what would have happened to her. So I'm glad we're going to be finding out some information. But if you guys have not seen the affidavit, I did a video, and you got the press conference at the very front of it. If you want to just go right into the affidavit and probable cause, just fast forward. I think the press conference was like 18 minutes. So the first 18 minutes of the video is the full press conference for you. And so the probable cause stuff, I only read the one for Tiffany Adams, and I got to tell you, that was crazy. They have 5 charges each. Count 1 and 2 is for obviously the first degree murder charge, deliberate premeditated murder charge for both Jillian as well as Veronica. They also have kidnapping for both of those as well, and 1 charge of conspiracy. Me personally, I think that there's going to be some upgraded charges here, because I can't imagine them not. They have a second conspiracy charge for that first failed attempt. And what about attempted homicide on top of that, right? I mean, they did attempt to. The only thing that saved her was the fact she didn't come out of the house. They actually made action from what the affidavit said. They physically went there. That's action. That's action. So they're missing the charges for all of that. It sounds like they were discussing the anvil, making it look like an accident. Can you imagine? These people. I was reading this, and because it was my first time reading, I was reading it to TikTok, I ended up uploading it and putting it on here, but I was reading it to TikTok. I'm reading it for the first time with my audience, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, does this say what I think it says? An anvil? Do you guys know what an anvil is? If you don't know what an anvil is, go look at it. It's a funky, hard metal thing, and it can do some damage. And just to think that they were going to toss that into a moving car is just, these people are just twisted and demented. I don't know how you get so damn twisted and demented. I really don't. I have no clue. And it's like the evil leading the evil, because they all let each other. Like, not one of them stopped and said, dude, do you realize how crazy this is all sounding? I don't know. But I can't remember who it was, but I think one of my mods was bringing it up, that she believes that it was one of those things where they were making Veronica out to be the threat, like she's going to hurt these kids if they don't put a stop to it. And it sounds like that's basically what Tiffany was doing. She was convincing all these people if they didn't act, something bad was going to happen to her grandchildren, and all Veronica was doing is doing the best she could and trying to get her kids back, like any good mom would do, right? You screwed up, you got your kids taken from you, you get a dose of reality, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you dust yourself off, you get back out there, and you work 1,000 times harder to get your children back. And that sounds like what she was doing. And it terrified the grandmother so much, this controlling woman that has to control everything. And she just could not stand the fact, because she knew, I think in her heart, she knew if Veronica got those children back and she had full custody of them, that grandmother would never see those grandchildren again. And you know what? She probably shouldn't be seeing them at all anyways. We see exactly why Veronica wanted them out of that house. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Sebastian Rogers. 49 days. 49 days. Hasn't been seen, heard, or even smelled. There was no scent. We have a stepfather that has marks all over his arms, interjecting himself into everything, monitoring everything he can possibly monitor. We saw this despicable interview with Katie Proudfoot, totally lacking of emotion. No emotion, no concern, no fear. Nothing. And people are like, well, you know, some people just don't. She is a normal person. Christopher Proudfoot is a normal person. Might be messed up in the head just a little bit, but for the sake of this, they're normal people. They're normal people. I expect them to be on the normal emotional spectrum. Period. The normal emotional spectrum. That means when you have a kid that's missing, that's your child, you freak the F out. Okay? You're uncontrollable, inconsolable. You're begging for anybody to go find your kid, bring him home. You're out there turning things up. You're blistering your face, your lips, your scalp, trying to locate your offspring that is missing. Because us as human beings have this thing called nurturing in crap, right? And we love our offspring, at least most of the time. We might want to kill them when they can't clean the room. But for the most part, we like our offspring, okay? And if we don't like them, we love them. That's just a good way of saying that they drive you up a wall and shoe fly shoe. They're not looking. Not looking. Not crying. Not begging. Like I expect, have you guys ever seen me? No, you guys probably, you guys have. If you guys have not seen me on a search, you should go back and look at some of the work when I'm on a search. It's not just posting flyers. It's not just searching woods. It's taking that flyer and saying, hey, have you seen this boy? What do you know? Have you heard about this case? What have you heard? Do you know anything? What do you think happened? Do you know either of the parents? Do your children go to school with their child? You see what I'm saying? It's not just about searching. It's about collecting any information and identifying anybody that might have a scintilla of information that could provide law enforcement a lead in the right direction. They're not doing any of that. This is these are military families that know how to walk and talk. They actually are trained to know how to walk and talk for hours at a time in very horrendous elements. They know they are both trained, highly trained and skilled to handle themselves out in the wilderness and to survive, unlike their son. Yet they didn't take not one single scintilla of their expertise to go out and look for their son. That I find problematic. We have military trained people that could have literally put a map out and took their training to help locate their son. And they chose to pack up a camper, run 3.5 miles or 3.5 hours away into a completely different state. So, I mean, I know we don't have evidence and stuff. I mean, I guess it would require law enforcement to get forensics. But here is a little tidbit of information that I think, and a tidbit of element that I think we're missing here. And that is, how do we know it wasn't done? You know, I was sitting there thinking, everybody's talking about this other landfill. Now, granted, I don't know whether it's been searched or not. I personally don't know. I wasn't out there. I haven't been out there. I'm going to be going out there. And when I go out there, maybe I'll poke around the landfill and see if law enforcement was out there, you know, in a, I don't know, you know, maybe I'll wait until one of the smelly guys come out. Hey, honey. Hi. How you doing? Can you come here for a second? Did that fire really break off? Tell me what happened with that fire, right? Was law enforcement in here? Did they do a ground search in here? So I'm just wondering, is it possible, you know, law enforcement's getting a little more sneaky and a little more talented, and they're learning to work with, you know, social media people, and they're learning to keep, you know, some things under wraps, and they're learning how to be more, I don't know, Houdini-ish, right? Houdini-ish. Would they kind of, you know, point everybody over to a different landfill so all the media's over there, the big orchestration, the big, huge press release to get all the media over there in Kentucky. Go ahead on over there to Kentucky's landfill. While they're secretly doing a landfill search over in Gallatin. Now, is it possible that they could do that? We hear that they do missions and all kinds of stuff all the times, right? And maybe not there, but we hear, we got Grady Judd, right? We see the stuff he puts together. Why would we think they wouldn't get a little more creative when dealing with social media and media? They might. They might have done a shell game. How do we know they didn't? I don't know. How do we know that they didn't do forensics? The only reason why we know that they didn't do forensics is because, you know, they're not telling us. It's not like Katie and Chris, not like, well, even if do you think if they told us right now that the whole house had forensic testing, do you think at this point any of us would believe Chris or Katie if they came to us and told us that? Unless that TBI website's updated to inform the public that, yes, we did collect forensics and DNA, I would have to venture to say they probably haven't collected DNA or forensics or anything. We don't know. Don't know. All right, let me go up. I'm in yapping. You know what's funny? The Mod Squad and we get, I don't know, sometimes I think we just stay up too late and we just get delirious. And never mind. I'm good. I was going to tell some state secrets. Jen was talking about it's an inside thing, and I was about to go up and read it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to read it because then I'm going to explain, and then the secret will be out of the bag. Then we won't have anything secret. I would go nuts if my kid, this is coming from username copied, and said, oh, by the way, thank you for being a member. God bless you. I would go nuts if my kid was missing. Whoever thinks they're autistic and needs to... Whoever thinks they are autistic needs to get some help. That makes no sense, and they are just giving excuses, and that is sick. Thank you. I agree with that. Did you hear, you know, it's like every time we go there, it's like, I really thought like Katie like loved her child, and, you know, I guess, you know, when you're first getting into these things, I don't feel this way now. I mean, don't just bear with me with what I'm trying to say. I don't feel this way at all now, at all. But when we first got into this case, you know, I guess as a female and looking into it and having abuse in my own life, so it biased me a little bit. You know I'm a good person. You know, I know I've had some challenging times in my life, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, you know, is this this controlling guy that's got her? And, you know, but at this point, you know, I look at that woman and it's just hard for me not to believe that she is culpable somehow in all of this. And it just makes me really sick that she just will not come forward. If she had nothing to do with it and it's all Chris, she needs to do, even if she had a hand in it, even if she was an accessory of some sort, you know, you got to deal with what you got to deal with. But I don't know, hiding in line. Who actually believes that? I mean, in all fairness, I know there's a lot of, not a lot of people. I guess we got about a little under 300 people in here. Who believes Sebastian walked out the door? I mean, if you believe it, you believe it. Own it, you know, own it. I want to gauge the audience. If you truly do believe he walked out of the house, put a 1 in the chat, because I got a few questions to ask you, just for my own curiosity. Where is it not showing? Where is what not showing? I don't know where what's not showing. I told him to reach out to you, didn't know how to do it either to get his attention. I'm not sure who you're talking to, IK. Does anyone know if polygraph done and how did it go? Or how did they do? Ash, I don't know. It seems to me that we're kind of waiting with bated breath on Seth. He fell asleep during his. Does it mean he's going to not pass? I don't know. You know, he was on medication. If he failed, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. It really wouldn't surprise me. And like I said, the administrator of that test knew better. I don't do polygraphs often, but the one thing I do know is sleep and medication absolutely 100% affect a polygraph. And he was sleep deprived as well as medicated with gabapentin, which is a narcotic. So I can understand if, you know, and that's what upsets me, because this is not unique. There are polygraph administrators that know better. So when they know that you're sleep deprived and you've been on medication, what he should have done is said, you need to get sleep and get off the medication. I need you off the medication for a good 24 hours before I can administer this test. That was not done. I don't know why that wasn't done, especially because one of the questions are you on any kind of medication or alcohol? And Seth should have said, yes, I'm on gabapentin. Done. So I don't know what the situation is, and I don't know if he passed or failed. According to everybody, they have not rendered a result of that. It might be, they may have to try to decipher it because he fell asleep and because he was on medication. I would just give him another one after he's off the medication. That's what I would do, is set everybody's problems. Just wait until he's off the medication. Give him another polygraph test. I'm sure he's going to pass it with flying colors. He is the one person I'm not worried about in this case, because he was in a jail working literally through the night, and I feel so stinking bad, because I keep thinking if he seriously was not on the night shift that night when his son disappeared, how much different the landscape around him would look. Because people would have been attacking him, saying, you were telling everybody you wanted your son, and you really didn't want your son, and you did something with him, you're the only person that didn't have anybody with them, blah, blah, blah. I mean, people get a little sideways. They get a little bit. I mean, this man is on freaking camera, and you still got people trying to act like he's done something with his son. Okay. Anyways. Madeline Soto bothered me. The father nodding his head up and down when asked, do you think that Jennifer had anything to do with it? The fact that the father gets the ashes, I'd like to know, did they split the ashes, or did the father take all the ashes back with him? Because that's significant. If the father took all the ashes back with him, it's hard to, for a mom to detach from her daughter, but to further detach from her daughter completely, you know what, I don't know, because I know Maddie's mom. Maddie, Kaylee Gonzalez and Maddie Mogren were best friends. They were part of the Idaho 4, and they were best friends since, I think, 6th grade. They did just about everything together. They were like, even though they weren't biologically related, they were biologically, spiritually, somehow connected to one another and tied with a bow. You know, that's the way, basically, how the family basically described them. And Maddie Mogen's mom, Maddie and Kaylee stayed together. I don't know if Maddie's mom ever came over and got her yet, but I know her mom, it was so hard on her mom. Maddie was her only child, that she couldn't even bear to look at it. Like, you know, Christy and Steve kept them together. And I don't know, you know, they talked about it, and Maddie's mom, it was just so hard for her. So, you know, I mean, there is that, because I know, but that would had to have been really bad. But for her to give Madeline completely to her stepfather, or to her father, I don't know. It just makes me wonder, is there going to be like a jail type of thing going on? You know, is she going to jail? because you guys know I said I wasn't going to accuse this woman of knowing jack squat without a little more information. And I know that that father talked to law enforcement. And no matter what that father says on camera, I truly believe he knows more than whatever he said on that interview. He just looked like he knew more. And when he had that gesture, when he had that very, very clear language speaking that spoke volumes much louder than the words coming out of his mouth, it's kind of like I had to kind of, take a really good look because, my mom, you guys remember Mama Bullhorn calling into the show and saying the moms know. Moms know something, right? Remember Mama Bullhorn? She knew, I know something, right? And so Mama Bullhorn wasn't giving her no slack. She's like, nope, nope. Oh, thank you, Pebbles. There is a change.org. Thank you, Pebbles, for bringing that up. This is, please sign this. It is change.org. This is done by Seth for his son, Sebastian. It is to try to get enough signatures that the FBI takes over this case. I think Seth is exhausted. I think he wants answers, and I think he's sick and tired of dealing with TBI. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. If he hears anything from me, you will hear nothing good that comes from me and TBI. Have they brought people home? Yes. Yes. But every single one of the cases I'm involved in right now, nobody's been charged. Nobody's been held accountable. Nobody's been found. Nobody. 4 cases. One dating all the way back to 2021, and that's when I got started in the true crime, right? 2021 is when I got started in the true crime, so that's as far back as it goes for me, babe. What about the ones before that? I bet you if I start digging in TBI, I bet you I don't even want to know. It would probably turn my stomach. It would probably turn my stomach. Right now, the way I'm looking at it for the last 3 years, there's been more problems of unsolved cases in Tennessee than there have been solved cases. So much so that I literally make fun of the state of Tennessee now, saying, hey, if you want to unalive your kid, there's the state to do it. Make sure you hide the body really good. Because if you can just hide it really good, you don't have to worry about being held accountable for it because they got their thumb stuck up their ass. And I'll say it just like that. I hope it's an embarrassment for TBI. I hope it's an embarrassment for Tennessee. Do I want to call them out? Of course not. I just want them to do better. Figure it out. Start thinking outside of the box. Put your team in a room and start a think tank and nobody leave until you figure it out. That's how you get this shit done. That's how you get it done. Quit scratching your head wondering what to do. Figure it out. We got too many darn people out there. There's got to be some evidence that can lead you there, and I don't want to hear we can't charge anybody without a body. Well, it's kind of funny because other states don't have that problem. FBI needs to take over. Absolutely. That's the point. Sign the petition. All that all that drama. I got to make a point. You know what I'm saying? Got to make a point. No. We don't take no crap over here. Sign the petition. Damn it. But no, Seth does need help. I definitely agree with his motivation. Because I'm telling you, if I'm in Tennessee, I would want the FBI. I'm sorry, TBI. God bless you guys. I know you guys got a lot of hardworking men and women. I just think that whoever trained them needs to be removed, and they need new training. I think they need new legal training. I think your state attorneys need new legal training. I think you guys need to get it together. What they need to start doing is getting into those court systems and start getting precedent passed. Precedent passed so they can start moving this ball into the 2024 century. Seriously. 2020, right? 2030 century. There we go. 2030 decade? I don't know. I'm tired, and you know what? I am not smarter than a 5th grader. Give me a break. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I wanted to do. I just wanted to come on here and just say hi to each and every one of you and just say I don't know what to do. But Madeline Soto case, no charges. Still no charge. I'm just like, how in the world do we seriously have Madeline Soto's case with no charges of her abduction and her unaliving after all this time when they have a videotape of her deceased in the SOB's car? How do we not have any charges right now? Are they negotiating with their attorneys before they levy charges? Are they working on a deal already? I mean, he did look embarrassed. Did you guys see his face in the back of that car? There was one time when he was just like this, and he's just like side-eyeing, but he almost looks like he's side-eyeing right to the camera. They must have been able to see the camera, but he's just sitting there like, and the way his eyes were, you could see all the white in it, and just as they were stretched anyways. Because Jen is in a mental house, can't change. It's the mother, or can't. Actually, Alec Murdaugh was in a rehab facility too under doctor's care. But when you have a warrant for an arrest, they pick you up. They get a court order. Court orders supersede anything. It doesn't matter what the doctors say. All they have to do is go get a subpoena or a court order from the courts to get in there and collect the person, and the facility will hand them right over. Ellie said it could take up to 2 years for 2 years for charges? That's because they know he's going away. They don't want to charge him yet. So if mom has anything to do with it, she's going to be sitting out on her butt. Okay. That seems so appropriate. So let me guess, it's going to be like, what, an 8-year tour before we get a conviction in the Madeline Soto case? They need up to 2 years before charges? I have never heard of such insanity before. Such insanity. I've been fighting for 30 years. Wow. But was it of similar circumstances? Because, yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Betty. Safe travels. Come to Michigan. Let's have some coffee. Well, that's kind of funny you say something about Michigan. I might be there. Depends on if my mod needs me, but I will be there if she needs me. I love you, guidance. But we're going to be going to Tennessee. We'll see where we go after Tennessee. I was actually thinking, you know what? I was actually thinking about taking a little dip over. You guys remember Rachel Morin, the mom of 5 that was jogging, and when Riley, what was her name? Laken Riley was unalived by that illegal. We all thought that it was it looked similar like the person that attacked Rachel Morin. Well, that case, it doesn't appear that there's been any arrests in that case. I haven't been out on that trail since, they were doing the, they had a whole like memorial throughout the park. Everywhere you went was a little picture of her on a tree and flowers, on. It was heartbreaking, but it was beautiful. It just showed you the love of the community coming together for this tragic, brutal attack of a young woman just, trying to exercise and enjoy a public park in broad daylight. This happened. So I'm thinking about maybe dipping over there and doing another segment on her to try to get some renewed energy in the case. I'd like to speak to their public information officer first, just to see, what's going on in the case. Because at the end of the day, I always felt like they knew who did it, because they just shut up about it. They had this huge public outcry looking for this guy. It took them almost 6 months to get a photo of this guy out, and then it just went dormant again. And it's like, are they doing anything on this case? Are they not doing anything on this case? We haven't heard anything, and it's been since August. Like, we're coming around pretty soon. It's about to come up on her year milestone of her brutal attack, leaving her 5 children literally severed. They got children they got children at this house, and a child at this house. The children that were once together, growing up together as brother and sister, are split apart. That's the saddest part of all of this. The siblings are not even living together like they once did. Destroyed the whole family. And still unsolved, according to the police. So I'm thinking we need to get out there and check that out, and just maybe do another segment or series on Rachel Morin, maybe get a little more information. But we'll see. And then I was also thinking we never made our rounds to Gilgo Beach either. You know, that was one that I've always wanted to go and check out, especially hunting in those beach. Never know what we'll find. You know, we do believe there's more out there. We don't believe he stopped, right? We don't believe. Tell me, do you believe this man stopped? If you think that he stopped whenever they found the 4 and everything quieted down, I just think he found a different place to put him. If you ask me. Zebras don't change their stripes, and leopards don't change their spots. I think that's how my mama says it. I don't know. And I said don't let it hit don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. And I think Sonia's don't let it hit you where it splits you. Look him up, Jane. Who's that for, Robin? Jason Samoots. My hooked on phonics is broken. I butcher up these words. Who's Jason Simmons? I don't know. Come on down to Gilgo Beach. I can meet up with you. Oh, that would be fun. Oh, that would be actually kind of cool. I've met just about every one of my mods. We just went to court in June, and he got his 2nd term of life in prison without parole. Now he's flying again, or fighting again. Oh, wow. Let me keep going. I heard that Maddie was with her dad, and Jen only fought for custody after she met Stefan. If true, they never bonded, and she knew and was involved. Interesting, Angel. I almost glossed over that. Even with the 2 dots and everything, I just glossed right over it. I just happened to go back up to see what was going on, and I saw it. If you have something that important, because I know, Angel, you're always in here. If you ever have something that important and it's alive and I miss it, send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, because you always have some good stuff to say. Jen Soto, she turned a blind eye. She knew what was going on. There's no way in the world she could have not known. Just to hang on to the SOB. My mom pretty much said the same thing, but you know, it's just so hard for me to believe. It really is, because I never want to think of a mom like that, you know, ever. And there was also a caller called into our show, and she was Hispanic. And I didn't even think about, you know, Jennifer Soto being Hispanic. You know, obviously her mother's Hispanic, speaks Spanish, you know, was on Telemundo and stuff like that, but I never thought of her as Hispanic. And so she was saying that something in the Hispanic culture about, you know, keeping things hush-hush, never wanting people to know what's going on. And she had said something to that effect. And I don't want to say verbatim because I always get myself in trouble, but it was something about their culture and stuff like that, that it is possible that she would have known it and turned a blind eye, because that's culturally what happens, what they said on the live when they called in. So, too many parents using their kids to hurt other parents. Absolutely, Snow. Well, there's a lot of parents just hurting their kids because, like, just turn them over to the Department of Children and Family Services. I mean, if you're on crap and booting crap and drinking crap and not taking care of your kids, you know, give them a life, you know, to each their own. I don't judge people, but you can hurt yourself, just don't hurt other people. That's what I say. As long as you're not hurting other people, I could give 2 craps about what you're doing. So could anybody else. So, you know, we need to save a child's life. All right, guys, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed now. I got a long day tomorrow. I'm flying to Illinois. I'll let you guys know how it goes. That's all we can do. Keep your fingers crossed for Bullhorn Betty, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless. Take care and have a good night.